See you around, hillbilly.
Welcome to Palmetto Estates, suburbia at its finest, and we'll actually have quite a bit of interaction with normal humans in this location. Our first task here is to find a normal human and talk to them about the situation. Find out more information about the evacuation, because apparently Scout is a big asshole and didn't give us the specific details. Seriously, what possible reason could she have for not telling us?
Did Aiden send you?
Who's Aiden?
My husband, Aiden, still knows how to signal the last evac helicopter out. He was supposed to be back by now. He went to check on the Harrisons, in the house across the street.
I'll go look there then.
I mean, I guess you could argue that Scout specifically didn't know all the details about the evacuation, but her father, the sheriff, helped organize the thing, right? Would it have been too much to ask that he told us before he drove off with his daughter and died? Just kind of leaving us here to find people is really rude, especially since there were zombies all over the town.
It's gonna be all right.
Oh, are you looking for the
You Harrison? I'm trying to find Aiden. Lady across the street said he was here.
lady? Oh, Jane. Yes, Aiden was just here, but left for the mechanic shop just down the road. You should be able to catch him. Please tell him to begin. It won't be much longer now. Oh, yes, there's a pharmacy in the shopping center. Can you please bring something to ease my wife's suffering?
So we now have two new objectives. We need to go find Aiden at the mechanic shop, and we can go find painkillers for Harrison's wife. We're not going to find painkillers for Harrison's wife, though, because there's a choice at the end of the level that will make that completely useless. I find this to be the easiest level to clear out all the zombies. They're spread just far enough apart, and there's not exactly a whole bunch of them. I also find this level to be interesting for the amount of interaction with normal people in it. Has one of the game's few story divergences. So that's also nice. Granted, it's a story divergence right before the end of the game, so it doesn't have that much weight to it. You don't ever get to see your choice pay off in any meaningful fashion because the end of the game plays out the same way regardless. This isn't like the situation with Noah where you get some sense of a conclusion to the narrative. This narrative string that we encounter in this level just doesn't go anywhere. There sure are a lot of zombies to hit with bats though, let me tell you. And I'm not really complaining because it's fun to hit zombies with the bat. Starts to get old after a while, but it hasn't gotten old yet. And the next level is the final level where we will finally obtain the fire axe, and you'll get to see what all the hubbub is about. You know, this game is probably meant to be a lot more stressful than it is. But again, I suppose that depends on how you play the game. Like, if you found the fire axe in the hospital, you'd just be doing what I'm doing right now, but throughout the whole game. We're almost to the mechanic shop, but before we head in there, we went ahead a few buildings over to grab a bag that we're going to need. We don't know that we need the bag yet, but we might as well be proactive, especially since our compass is actually pointing us right toward the bag. You know, let's talk about this game's length for a second. It's only about 2 hours long, maybe 3 hours if you get lost or don't know what you're doing. Or maybe 4 at maximum if you get lost, don't know what you're doing, and take the back roads. But there were people who reviewed this game who claimed to have been playing it for like 8.5 hours on their first playthrough. And this isn't the first time I've run into this weird discrepancy in reviewers cataloging the length of certain games. Like, a lot of the time... Shut up, Aiden, I'm talking. A lot of the time they'll say games are far longer than they are. But usually when they complain about how short a game is, that's reasonably accurate. I don't know, is it that much to ask that they keep a timer or something?
believe I twisted my ankle. Idiot! Come here. Look, there's only one evac chopper left and the clock's running out.
So how do I get out of here?
Okay, all right. You need to get a bag I dropped in the mechanic shop. It has smoke pods to signal the FEMA choppers.
These things?
Yeah, okay. You go back. Get my wife and Harrison. Once we light those smokers, we have 90 seconds to pick up. I'll update you on the radio.
Let's light them up then. The sooner I'm out of here, the better.
You don't bring them back,
Better
you're not
already.
getting on. Come on, go.
Well, he did say we need to hurry up, so... Yeah, we can totally take that fall. Shake it off, Daryl. You landed on your head before. You know, I mean... I'm just saying... If someone reads your review, your professional critical review that you get paid for, and you tell them that the game is 8.5 hours long, you're kinda lying? And I know game length is important to some people. Personally, I think a game should be as long as it needs to be without getting old. Hey, Chopper. But for example, if I had read that review before playing this game, I would be deterred from playing it. Because I don't want this game to be 8.5 hours long. So it's the problem other people would have, but in reverse. You know, someone would read the review and go, oh, hey, this game is 8.5 hours long, that's pretty substantial, and maybe they would buy it. But I would read the review and go, oh man, 8.5 hours, that's way too goddamn long for a game like this. I'm not buying it.
Oh my god! No!
Hey, they're already here! The hell? The choppers! You gotta hurry! They pulled me on, said they're leaving! Move! So let me off!
Oh, son of a bitch!
So this is our choice at the end of the level. We either have to save Jane or the Harrisons. We can't save them both, and we're choosing Jane. There's no particular reason to choose Jane over the Harrisons. They don't really have any particularly interesting dialogue either way. We also, after we clear out all the zombies in front of Jane's house, we can't go in the front door, we have to use the back door. But the game registers your decision depending on whose house you go in front of, and how many zombies you kill in front of their house. This isn't like the situation back in the hospital. This time the game decides who lives based on whose house you go to first, which I think is a lot more organic. And it fits a lot better, since ideally you would want to save them both, but you just can't.
You saved me! You did it! Thank God for you! What happened to Aiden?
Chopper came and took him. Wouldn't let him off.
They're going to Atlanta, which is where I'm going. You coming with me?
It's Atlanta then. Wake up. This is it.
Are we there? Look! Firesign Stadium! That's where they're evacuating!